But when emotions flare, they can create another world. One where invitations aren't extended and tourists shouldn't go. A world of homicide and suicide. Beyond the yellow tape is a place that no one should ever have to see. Who cleans up the evidence of violence or the last remains of a loved one?
Essentially, once we leave, the crime scene is as we found it.
We come and we go, and what's left there is not a part of our thought process.
We've done our investigation, and now we've moved on. We don't get into the cleanup aspects.
We go in, sometimes there's blood all over the place, there's all type of contaminants, and normally it's the responsibility of the owner of the properties.
There's one man who thinks it shouldn't be that way. Tommy Boudreau is a man on a mission. A native New Orleanian trying to bring public attention to the devastation that families are faced with. He's a crime scene cleaner.
We have a strong background of professionalism, number one, but a strong medical background, and there is a science to what we do, such as post-forensic restoration and biomedical cleanup.
Sunday morning. Most of the city is slowly waking up, and church services are underway. But on Paris Avenue, a very different scene is taking place. Two students working at a local gas station have just been shot and are in critical condition. Unknowingly, a local resident is the first on the scene.
When I drove up, the filling station looked closed. There was no one behind the glass. And then one of the young men who had been shot had the strength to stand up. And he stood up behind the glass and waved at me.
Martha barely missed being caught in the crossfire. Just moments before, two men with shotguns demanded the cash box. The students handed it over, but were shot anyway.
I didn't know what that was on the floor. I only found out later that part of his liver had been shot out of his body. And then to hear someone saying in that condition that his life is leaving his body, it was a very profound, it was a very intense experience.
Within minutes, paramedics and police are on the scene and race the two students to Charity Hospital. Police attention then turns quickly to gathering evidence. The priority is the investigation. Unfortunately, hazards of the scene can be overlooked.
Sometimes the crime scene doesn't appear to be that hazardous, but unless we've given advice through our medical community, we are not educated on all the hazards.
Blood is an extremely good vector to carry viruses. Viruses are not like bacteria. Bacteria don't do well outside the body. They don't do well at all. But viruses do very well outside the body. It always annoyed me to see all of the people who were there on the crime scene, some of whom were walking in the blood, taking it and carrying it to other areas, like their cars. This is a public health problem, and we have to address it, because these viruses are now walking out of these scenes.
Five years ago, Tommy sounded the alarm to this potential health hazard. Working as a neurosurgeon's assistant, he was well aware of the dangers present in blood. He decided to launch a new business, Clean Scene, the first bioremediation company registered in the state of Louisiana. But there was one problem: how to inform the public of his services.
I watch the morning news when I rise. I watch the late night news before I lay my head down. I'm listening to the radio, and then I'm listening to the scanner. And if I hear something that pertains to my profession, and I feel that family or business needs me, I'm on it right away.
Tommy hears about the gas station shooting on the police scanner. He arrives on the scene at the same time as the TV crews and waits for the right moment to approach the owner of the station.
We're very discreet. We try not to give off the image of being an ambulance chaser, because we're not. We're basically trying to educate the public, let them know the need of our service before they even realize there is a need. Because while the police department, our coroner's offices are here, they're under the impression that they're going to take care of it. And it's when they start seeing them drive off and they go, wow, you know, wait, you're leaving the stuff behind. And they're going, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. You know, that's not our job. And then the next question is, well, you know, who do you call?
The owner doesn't want to spend any money on this. He's asked one of the victim's friends to mop it up.
Yeah, I'm with the cleanup company. He's letting me go in there.
But Tommy's persistent. He explains the need for proper remediation. A convenience store is no place to cut corners. Kids come here to buy candy. The owner agrees only after Tommy gives him a bargain rate. But less money means Tommy will have to do the job alone.
Yeah, I'll do this job by myself today. The owner is interested in trying to get this store open as quickly as possible. I'm already here with the equipment and ready to roll, so just going to go ahead and go for it. And so basically what we're doing is we're going to pick up all the debris, put it in a bio container, and then we'll be doing a sanitary mop-up of the floor. And then once we get that accomplished, then we'll do a little bit of an investigative work ourselves to make sure that we're not missing any areas that might be contaminated with blood.
Tommy's first concern must be his own safety. This means wearing a non-porous work suit while the temperature inside the store hovers around 90. Though already starting to dry, the blood is still hazardous. In a process called scabbing, the outer surface forms a hard shell. Inside, the blood remains a living, viable host for pathogens.
If it's a blood factor that is, say, HIV or hepatitis infected, those pathogens as well are being encapsulated, and the situation that, once again, when we're handling it, we have to take all these things into consideration.
Tommy's main concern is not to spread contaminants to food items, so he works with the blood dry for as long as possible. This HEPAVAC lifts most of the dried particles. The next step is diluting the blood with a powerful antimicrobial agent. Police, when leaving a scene, recommend regular household bleach.
These are all products that are going to be served to children, and I want to make sure that they're not contaminated. Somebody's son was shot this morning. I'm looking at their blood. These gentlemen were trying to earn an honest living, and two thugs off the street decided for some particular reason to come rob them this morning. Very sad.
Late afternoon. While Tommy's attention turns to detail, word is back from the hospital. Though in critical care, the two employees are incredibly lucky. The young man, shot in the face, miraculously had the bullets skim his skull. As for the other student, who lost part of his liver, this is an organ that can partially regenerate itself. The job finished, Tommy feels there is one person who avoided being victimized. The friend who was supposed to clean up was spared physical as well as emotional risks.